Radio Rahim with the bomb, Alycia Baumgardner. The last time I spoke to you, we were on this other side of the pond, and unfortunately that fight got delayed, so I couldn't actually be there on the night. But boy, tensions ran high. I watched every minute of it from this side of the pond. And at the end, when your hand was raised, I saw Michaela Mayer's face, and I saw her storm off, and I knew in that moment she did not feel like she lost that fight. At the end of the day, is that still something that you feel there's a bit to settle, like to decisively and get her to admit that you are the best fighter at 130 pounds?
I mean, the only way to settle is to punish her and finish her. So, again, I did what I had to do in the first fight to beat her, and I did that. So we have to run it back to really demolish her. I would love that.
Names are always linked when they become rivalries. You guys certainly have that relationship. So every time I Google your name to see what's happening with this fight, her name comes up in concert with yours. In making that kind of rematch, what kind of concessions, now that you do have a win on your side, are you looking for?
You know, it matters. It matters across the board. Everything has to be in order. The promotion, the money, the network. You know, the first fight did great. And so if we were to do the rematch again, we would want that to be ×2. So, again, it has to make sense.
It was one of the two biggest female fights of the year, or even really fights of the year, to be fair. And half of what I would consider fight of the year, Serrano-Taylor, is going to be the top of this card. Yet another fight that, was disputed by some. How did you feel the first fight went? Who did you have winning?
You know, it was a very close fight, very action-packed. And again, it depends what the judges are looking at. You could have went with Amanda, who, kept her aggressiveness and was throwing the harder shots. And then you could choose Katie, who finished stronger towards the end. So, again, we need to see that second fight.
And in that same vein, I know you got the score on the cards, but like you said, you'd like to demolish her. Is there anything that, looking back in hindsight, you might have done differently in your first fight to either get the knockout that you desired or make the win a bit more decisive?
I think I would just put this work on her, like just a little more. Like, you seen the first 3 rounds, I was just killing her with my jab, and she couldn't do nothing with that. My footwork was amazing. They said the boxer was going to outbox me. They was wrong.
I've heard you calling for Katie Taylor. We know Serrano again is on the top of the card this Saturday, but the big rematch obviously is Serrano-Taylor. It would make sense to see a rematch again on the undercard, maybe chief support, Mayer and Baumgardner. Is that a fight that not only obviously you want, you've said as much, but at 135 pounds maybe to set you up to win, to fight the winner of the main event?
Again, anything is predictable in boxing. Anything can happen if the talks are right. Again, I have a great team. They know exactly what they're doing. They're moving my career exactly how they think it should go. So again, we'll just have to see.
There's a big tradition in boxing, especially when it becomes undisputed, which is, again, this is not just relative to women's boxing. This happens in boxing a lot. The fights that we want, we can't get. The fighter that wants to be undisputed can't button it down with that last belt. Choi, who you were doggedly chasing, nobody can dispute that, is not in this fight, even though this is an undisputed card. Is that a disappointing element of this fight, even though you are a challenge for undisputed? I imagine that it's Choi that you'd like to be beating to get that distinction.
Of course, I definitely wanted Choi. This was something that we already had planned after beating Mayer. But again, everything happens the way it's supposed to, and I'm only going to control what I can control. I'm only going to be prepared when they tell me to be prepared. So again, here we are Saturday fighting for undisputed with a challenger in front of us.
Do you still consider Choi a champion?
Depends on what you look at. On paper, yes, but as someone who's looking to step up, she could have had this opportunity. We could have been making this fight right now. So
with that said, you intend to be successful on Saturday night. If you didn't have all 5 belts, is Choi still an opponent that you need to beat at 130 to really define yourself as not only undisputed but king of the ring?
I don't think I have to fight her to define myself, but again, I think it makes sense to fight Choi next. And again, I would love that fight. So hopefully she's not injured or making another excuse to not make the fight.
And lastly, looking at your matchup with Taylor one day, but we'll look at 2 days, is all we can really predict by. How is it that you feel you match up and can beat her, not only at a heavier weight class, but at the experience level she's at?
Yeah, I mean, she's well experienced, but so am I. I've been 21 years in this game, and I'm only getting better. That's what people have to understand. I'm only 28, turning 29, and I'm gaining so much knowledge in every fight, every practice. I'm just progressing daily. I'm a natural born athlete, and this is what I do. I love a challenge. So you're only going to see better.
And I know Eddie loves a promotion, so American versus Brit, it'll probably be there. You know, he loves Taylor, he loves you, so that's easy pickings for him. But for you, do you have a preference if you had an opportunity to decide whom to fight at 135 for undisputed? Would it be Taylor or Serrano?
Listen, either one of them. Either one. I don't care who it is. I love the fight. They're both great fighters. And again, I'm here to make history. I'm here to solidify who Alycia Baumgardner is, that she goes into people's backyards and beat them. She's been the underdog and been overlooked, and that's why we're here.
Do you imagine that you match up better with one or the other, or what would be the difference?
I would say Katie Taylor. Again, she's a great boxer. She's an Olympian. She has the resume. Styles make fights, and I think her style and my style would match perfectly. So I think a fight with Katie Taylor would be perfect.
I've heard you interviewed, and I also smirk when I hear you say I inspired myself. My goals are set by myself. So it begs the question then, for yourself, what is your ultimate goal in the sport? How, when you are last defined in history, would you like Alycia Baumgardner to be regarded?
You know, as a fighter who took a challenge, you know, my story is a journey, and it wasn't a straight path. It was a few detours, a few setbacks, a loss here, you know, a canceled fight here. And it just showed the progression of who Alycia Baumgardner was, that she took a challenge, and that my inspiration is a God confidence that I have within myself. And, you know, I have an assignment, I have a duty to do in this sport. And boxing, I'm bigger than boxing. I'm more than an athlete. So.
Well, congratulations on an incredible win across the pond on the big stage, yet again on the big stage at Madison Square Garden this Saturday night. Good luck in the pursuits of all the goals that you've just laid out. It's a pleasure to watch you work, and we'll be watching you work Saturday night. Don't miss it. Radio Rahim with Alycia Baumgardner.